Venus and Jupiter over Ocean Beach, California.
Well,
I know a mouse and he hasn't got a house. I don't know why I call him Gerald. He's getting rather old, but he's a good mouse.
very good. I'm impressed.
Shall we toast?
Yes, salute.
Sure.
Absolute.
Absolute.
Here's to creativity and DNA.
Did anybody go to that meeting last night?
I did.
How was it? Useful?
It was, yes, it was good. Yes. Met some interesting folks, some scientists there
Oh, really?
that I explained what we were doing. They sounded interested in
good.
possibly becoming part of something that where we start writing the scripts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then also Patricia recommended a scriptwriter to us, somebody that's what they do. And so I have a name. I haven't contacted her yet. But
And Ant is her name?
and yeah, I put the thing
I saw
on
it, yeah.
for her to.
You don't know if
She's
she's
invited. I didn't send her directly an email or anything that says
Won't want to do it right now?
well.
Too late.
No, she can go to
Okay.
No, we
the
don't want
Facebook page anyway. She's already posted to it. She knows what's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Elijah Rubon by chance? Got a shave head artist.
I didn't. He may have been there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people, and I didn't talk to everybody. In fact, Tomini was there, and I didn't even see her until she tapped me on the shoulder and says, "I'm leaving," and I was like, "Wow."
Oh.
Who is that?
Tomini. Domini? Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Kira's been trying to access us too. She's in another group.
Yeah, I think she's trying to do her own group or something. Yeah.
Well, I talked to her and she was interested in what we were doing too. But maybe.
Yeah, I mean, who knows which groups are going to get picked?
Yeah.
I mean, we all might end up somewhere else.
Right. What I think we should do tonight is at least napkin sketch these proposals.
Right. The
You know,
application.
get
Oh, I got the napkins. No.
You got the napkins? Okay. And let's just put it down in rough form and then we can develop it for next time.
I'm with that. I think we really need to
Should we
nail
just-
down the applications.
Yeah.
And let's, even if it's just an abstract,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
not too worried. Do we have any paper? And who's going to be the
You know,
scribe?
another thing I wanted to mention is, are any of you guys interested in working on the project that I mentioned, which is to map scientific data with Tonescape? So that you would hear the data instead of, hear and see it, instead of just see it.
Sonifying?
So, how do you envision a group of people working with that?
I don't know.
Other
You've been working
scientists?
on the script?
I really don't know. I mean, it was just an
And,
idea. And a few other people were interested in it, but they haven't contacted me, so I
I was
don't know
trying to.
what's
set
happening
up-
with
They made
it. I just thought, maybe you
Prop-
guys
prop
can help me
manager,
write the
yeah.
application, if nothing
They made
else.
prop
I don't
manager
know.
of this play, so been a little bit busy. Plus,
Maybe that would just be a thing, just to
it's
get
been the
help
last 2
writing
days.
the application.
Got my mother's taxes.
We need
haven't been
paper?
on. I spent the last 2 days doing linear-algebra because Larry Polanski. Students want to do some triadic scales, don't they? So I had to scan in, 60, 70 pages of article.
All I can say is lucky you.
Had them,
You got to spend a couple of days doing linear algebra.
Well, mainly because I made a mistake on one of the papers. So I've been trying to update it. And then you get involved in it. Gee, this is really interesting. Fortunately, I have the program, so I just put the scale in, and it's a series of, as intervals actually. And it vectorizes them, and then it transforms them at various matrices. It turns them inside out, upside down, rotates them. As long as they come out with 7 tones harmonically related. So. Yeah, it turns out there's, for a 7-tone scale, there's 84 transformation matrices.
Wow.
I'd love to see that.
Sometime I'll do it, but not for this project. Just all the basic.
I'd love to see that. That would be really neat to use. Well, should we just start with this one and then go to yours and then the one that I was thinking 3 abstracts I'm gonna still throw in that meta idea just for kicks.
Well, maybe Joe does more.
Joe 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how?
Yeah, well, you missed it. I
Well,
just
why
said,
don't we- why don't
Kaz
we-
said, like, how would we all be involved in that, in my opinion? And I said, maybe just to help me write the application, if nothing else.
Well, that's one thing, why don't we talk
The
about,
application's gotta get in.
about
by the
writing
end
an
of the month.
application, because I still have, I've got this play going for, over tomorrow.
Now, did you get your
Actually-
taxes done?
I got my mother's done, I haven't done mine yet.
Your
But
plan-
I also I'm supposed to go back to work at UCSD this spring, starting.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Well, I found some money. What happened is that this guy was doing a project several years ago. And, they sort of finished it and started writing it up, and I never heard from other people. They never told them that the $30,000 that they never sent the money.
Wow.
So the government, university takes a big chunk out of the top of it. They said, hey, why don't I hire you back half-time for a couple of months? Well, if you go back at 49%, they don't have to give me any benefits.
Oh, I see.
So what they try to do is bring people in and, for a longer period at lower salaries. And
Right, right.
I managed to stick them once for health insurance when I had my operation. That one or 2 months, I was on 52% or something. So I could stick Blue Cross.
Oh, God.
After fleecing me for years on medical insurance, I made them pay for it rather than Medicare.
Well, to encapsulate the play thing, I mean, I think we could start by saying that it's to stage a play that is a what do you call it?
Were you smart enough to bring?
This is for Kaz's idea?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Application.
is
Well, that's what I'm looking for.
it's to stage a play that is what do you call it?
Yeah.
A fusion of art and
That's what I
science and
want.
science fiction.
You are smart.
Well, I would call it
Um,
not a play, but a theater piece consisting of many plays.
Which
We'll talk
one
about-
are we
we're
talking
talking
about?
Kaz.
No, no, we're
Oh,
talking
we're talking
about,
mine.
no, we're talking about his.
Oh, John's, okay.
John's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess the what do you call it, the star points, the bullet points we should fix in there is one is that discussion between science fiction and science. And also that, in the play context would bring in a lot of art and music as well as scientific ideas.
How is it a fusion, though? I mean, to just say it's a fusion?
Well, in other words, if we were talking about that relationship between science fiction and new science in
Yeah.
an artistic context.
Right,
It's
okay.
shining the light.
But it's a Gesamtkunstwerk. It's going to have music and probably dance.
Yes, exactly.
And certainly stagecraft and
Art.
literature and science
Right.
all together.
So why don't
And
you
it's also a vehicle for Zen harmonic music,
okay, why don't we
which is it combines both a certain amount of mathematics
Science and art, right?
and science and acoustics and electronics
okay.
and music.
Let's bullet point all those 5 points that he was talking about.
So
Then the other thing, the only where's Kaz? We're gonna wait till Kaz comes
Yeah.
in.
well, there's a few other things. I noticed that we're supposed to do something about how we can develop classroom.
Yeah, they're
Projects
interested
on
in the
it.
educational
Yeah,
aspect.
in
of
fact,
it, yeah.
the other people I'm working with are actually having a workshop on their project with high school students, I think on Wednesday. I'm trying to figure out how I can get there. Because they don't know shit about the chemistry. I'll have to go make up the solutions because, we don't have a balance, but I know roughly what the solubility is and how strong they should be. And I sort of feel somewhat responsible since I acquired them from the lab and had to go to chem cycle. So, but I think that looking over those things on the art beats fashion, those lesson plans were pretty simple-minded.
Uh-huh.
I've downloaded a couple of them, but I didn't have time to read them, so I had to go to an art gallery opening.
I would say that,
Kaz,
in the
here's
case
a
of your
question I want to
play-
ask you
Yeah,
is because of the
hold on,
in dealing with this piece here, there's obviously the sort of macro conception has to do with science and science fiction and all that
Right,
stuff. But in terms of the on the ground, adding scientists into the project, would it, because we haven't addressed that there, would it make any sense to have something in the piece or some kind of narrative or spontaneity or something where we could get other scientific
Are we the only two?
Yeah.
opinion or you know where I'm getting, where I'm trying to go with that?
Well,
In other words,
certainly they could read the thing over and see if,
well, no, I meant actual involvement. In other words,
yeah,
could
they
we?
could be the announcer, they could play crew member.
No, not that. I meant, in other words, could we do anything like, say, have some kind of dialogue situation or something where different scientists would contribute.
Well,
The
dialogue
fictional
about,
element.
dialogue about what? And,
Well, in other words, where the piece seems to be kind of galvanizing around is this the relationship between science fiction, the love affair between science and science fiction, and
you know,
all the dimensionalities of that, what that is. But in other fields of science, besides just the science fiction, okay, there's probably a lot of that too. You know, it's
I think it goes to a different level than that too, though.
well,
I
like
think
in physics, for
it
example.
plays on the idea of what is reality.
No, but
I mean,
here's
to a
what, no,
degree, it's up
here's
to
what
I
I'm
think a
getting.
philosopher would be more likely interested in it than another scientist.
No, here's what I mean more practically. Could we get some, let's say, a mathematician and a physicist and a biologist, and have them give a throw in to the composition of that somewhere in a dialogue of in their particular fields, that odd relationship that happens too, or would that ruin the piece?
No, I just think one scientist, me, is enough.
You think?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you
Yeah.
see?
Well-
He's got the.
Here's the only problem with that is
Yeah.
the eligibility requirements.
Yeah.
Collaborative, each team must have a balance of members from the arts and from the science discipline.
Okay. We got it. We
So
got
you
it.
got one scientist and one artist. And you-
Well,
And,
no,
uh,
one musician
Musician.
and one.
An artist, two musicians,
artist,
two musicians,
two musicians.
a stage manager, and me.
Well, here's the other thing is that,
there's the arts and the sciences.
but here's the other thing. In that, all of us have
Doesn't
a
look
bunch
like a
of.
balance to me.
Yeah.
All of us have a more dimensional quality than that.
Yeah.
Okay, but the thing I'm thinking is if we have let's say we do this and we have to have a bunch of other science, it's easy to throw the art people into this.
Well, okay,
But-
it's easy if they want to go through the,
But
you know,
to throw in a bunch of.
they want to say something about the dialogue and add more things, take things out, make more philosophical comments, fine. It just stretches out longer.
Well, no, I meant this.
But nothing's more boring than having a bunch of guys get on the stage and discuss it.
I didn't mean that. No, I didn't mean that.
Okay.
No, I meant in,
I
let's
mean,
say
there
for
could be a
example.
seminar or something afterward.
Yeah,
No,
That
no,
could be the teaching.
Here's
That
what
could
I
be the
meant,
teaching.
is in the let's say we take a scene like with the Martians
Yeah.
going back and
Yeah.
forth. Could, like we ask the physicist to put words in the Martians' mouths, like,
Oh,
You know,
that's
you-
interesting.
or take a biologist and have them go off from, known knowledge into, the fantastic.
I can do that,
You could do that.
yeah.
Okay, but I mean, would it be fun to have somebody that's their actual field?
I mean,
Throw that in.
I mean, as an actor.
No, as just helping with throwing the dialogue part. Next, that would be the collaborative thing of the scientists.
Yeah,
saying-
well, that's what I said. If they want to discuss the dialogue with me, fine.
Mhm.
A physicist or somebody who's actually been in a NASA launch want to make that part more realistic.
Yeah.
Or discuss. I think where this thing's a little bit weak is philosophy at the end. When the two realities clash, and that needs to be tightened up a bit.
There's
But as
ways
far as
of-
biology, my field is
That is what
exobiology.
he is, yeah.
That's what I do. My training is in genetics and biochemistry.
Okay.
I work with DNA. I do biochemical pathways.
Well, we don't want you to do that. We want somebody else to do it.
Yeah, so let's get a physicist to do it.
You already wrote the
Or a
play.
sociologist. No,
You're already
I
moonlighting
don't-
as a playwright.
I don't think you need large teams to do things. You need a few dedicated people who'll set the direction and get it done.
That
Everybody
sort
else
of, that
gets
sort
a part.
of flies in the face of the whole concept of.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem.
That's,
Mhm, I approve.
because you get back to this eligibility requirements, they're gonna throw it out.
Well, we have to have just 4 people, don't we?
Well, they're gonna, if we get it, there's gonna be a bunch of influx
gonna
of
look at-
people. They're gonna look at this in terms of, can we add more people to it?
Right.
Well,
Right.
okay, fine. We can, if there's other people have something to say about the dialogue.
Well, no, okay, here's
I'm happy to
another
do it.
entry point into that, okay, another way to go in, instead of, let's say, having them contribute directly to the dialogue, could we, in staging this, for example, we could set up a pre-staging circumstance where, you know, as you walk into the theater or whatever, is that there's some kind of scientific presentations or dynamics going on.
Well,
with
there's
the
certain things
different
we could do
people.
with that, you know, we
Yeah.
could have pictures of Barsoom. In fact, I've got a map of Barsoom that you
Oh,
can
that's
download.
cool.
No, no, I meant
Maps are
this.
good.
And pictures of Mars,
Yeah.
and show that actually they're not the same place.
No, here's what I meant, is if we, let's say we do this and then we have 12 scientists walk in the door, okay?
Yeah, what are you gonna do with
What are
it?
you gonna do with them? So could we, for example, say, in our proposal, we'll set up an entry situation like you come through a lab, okay? Or multiple labs into this play, into the circumstance.
That's
and-
me.
And those, in those labs are various over-the-top experiments that these people are doing, or you know, we could, what I'm trying to get at is an inroad in, maybe in terms of staging, the way it's.
You have any idea what it's gonna cost to go into some lab, say at soccer uses, they haul all the equipment down there and stage it?
No, I didn't mean that.
No, the point is, if you're gonna stage an experiment, you've gotta have all the machinery and everything else there.
Okay, well, that's not what I meant exactly,
Okay.
is that, in other words, could we, there's so many ways to stage this that are totally fun, okay? I mean, myriads of ways, but if we had there's this, I'm thinking really kid-like here, of, you know, when everybody does Halloween and they,
Yeah.
you know, do a haunted house. But if there were, there was a scientific situation, you know, that you come into in the event of seeing this or experiencing
Well,
this.
I mean, how much you guys running around in white coats that struck me as much?
No,
I mean,
just
if you wanna
for
get
real.
people dressed up, you can have, you know, children dressed as Starks and slithering monsters and
Right.
and brass
No, I'm not
balls.
talking about, I'm talking about the scientists themselves.
Yeah, and what are they gonna do?
Well, they could present, you know,
Present what? I mean, you know,
It seems
It's
like
still
if you're doing a
scientific.
play and then all of a sudden some scientist comes in with some dry explanation of what they're
oh, well,
doing.
no, it was just the opposite, I didn't mean that.
Okay.
I meant in every field, okay, and even in the arts, okay, we have extended fantasy of, you know, extended directions that are beyond, you know, what we're actually doing. And if those, I'm not making any sense, am I?
no.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say that, but, you know, it sounds
I'm
wonderful,
sorry.
but it doesn't make any sense. You know?
Let me try again.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, I don't mean to give you a bad time.
There's a lot of ways of staging stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
You can stage something just in pure proscenium mode and
Yeah,
open
I
the
know,
curtains.
I know.
You can have an environment,
Yeah.
installation you walk through to
Yeah.
get there. You can have both. You can have all and everything. You know, there's many ways of doing things. But if we had, say, something, a theatrical relationship between the real scientist and the play, either in the beginning or post, or, and not dry, I mean, you know, it's really fun, is that we could ask those other scientists within that context, within the theatrical context.
Well,
to-
I'm just trying to, because I've been to a lot of meetings,
Mhm.
and I've heard a lot of lectures, I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of panel discussions,
Yeah,
and I don't think they go together well with the play. Now, there could be a talk before the play. A couple of scientists could talk about what Mars is really
what's
like.
the opening scene again?
The opening
Is
scene
it-
is
the
an
radio?
interview with
Yeah.
with the commander of the launch.
That's right.
And he's just describing why he wants to do this. And why they're gonna spend, you know, $500 billion to send people to Mars when you
Right,
can do it for a tenth of that by sending robotic machines.
Okay,
So-
well then the best
so
thing to do
I
at
think-
this
I
point,
think-
let's put that idea on hold.
And of course, if the robots, maybe we should include something about that. If the robots went, then
Oh, I like your
there
piece
wouldn't be
on
the
robots.
clash of reality
Yes,
that there is
piece
when
on
the humans
robots.
go.
Yeah, because
Robots don't
No,
care
that-
about.
Well, the analog robots,
Yeah.
that's a great.
That could be an interesting thing to put in there.
well,
Yeah.
but they're going to find the same thing as we do. We live in the same reality as the robots.
Well, yeah, but the robots don't think about it. So,
No, we think of the other end for them.
yeah.
You know, they may be autonomous and collective stuff, but I mean, you know, it's not the,
Unless they're analog.
and, yeah, not even analog.
We don't think for them, though.
So in other
Well,
words,
no,
let's,
but I don't think that would affect the basic physics of the situation there.
well, so then let's put this on hold for a moment and think about, digest it, how we would
Okay,
get.
but I
other
think
scientists
for the classroom, the teaching stuff, I think it's very likely that you could have scientists or other people, other than me, I'm not that good a speaker. They go to classes and talk about it and.
In other words, yeah, like present the play to a classroom and then have scientists asking the students.
Yeah, after it's been filmed, you know, we could make a DVD of it and show it, and then discuss it, what is the difference, and, you know, essentially in a class in critical thinking.
Right.
Kaz, you've been through this for a while now. I mean, what's
Also
your
creative
take on it?
writing.
What's your photograph of,
That's what I was thinking.
your reality check?
Hang on a minute, Roger, let me talk about this, because I think
Um,
that what I thought of with this educational aspect is that if we present the play to a classroom of students in maybe a creative writing class, then the teacher could say, how would you deal with this idea of the clash of realities? You know, write your own play or a scene or something and show me how you would do it differently, perhaps.
Would that be
something
the
like
end game though?
Well, for the educational aspect of it, yeah. You know.
I see.
Yeah, because we have to do lesson plans. I think that having scientists do that, or script writers, or people like that, I mean, you know,
Oh, there is an educational component that we're supposed
Yeah,
to bring
yeah.
this to classes.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, we have to write,
We have to put that in the application.
yeah, it's in the application, we got to create it, and that's what Patricia sent to
Exactly.
everybody. I don't know
Yeah.
if you got your email.
I-
But my thinking is that that's one of the strongest points of John's play, that it
Yeah.
can be used in a classroom situation like in creative writing, where, or even, maybe not even creative writing, maybe, I don't know, something.
yeah, we
something
had a
else.
science program, you know,
Yeah,
distinguishing, you know, fantasy from science.
right.
So I think that's a very logical place where other scientists, educators.
The thing that I latch onto the most about your play is that science is so weird that Barsoom really could exist somewhere. Maybe it's not on Mars, but
Yeah, well,
it could be
if
somewhere.
physical laws were different. If the ninth ray was the ray of propulsion and it pushed light away from planets, I mean, there's a lot of real pseudoscience in Burroughs.
Yeah.
You know, which I want to watch this, see the movie when it comes out next week. See how they handle it.
Oh, it comes out next week.
Yeah, it starts tonight. Apparently they've combined the first 3 or 4 novels together. And I don't know what that electrical field-like thing is. Nothing like that in the books, but
Well, that might give us some,
it might give us some ideas on that thing. But, you know, I think we're going to need a lot of help on this thing with the staging and set design and costuming, and that's
See,
where I
I'm
think,
not so
that's where,
comfortable at all that stuff. And,
You are?
and script writing too, yeah, they're falling off a log for me. I don't
oh,
know if
fine,
you
but
can
we don't
do
need that many
this.
more people. We just use them as supernumerary.
well, we
I'm
need
worried
to
about-
incorporate them. We
Yeah.
need to welcome them.
Here's the problem, is,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's not, the problem isn't with the play. The play, I think the play's fine. The problem is how it fits with the eligibility of these requirements for
Right.
this. And now, it may be something we could always do outside of this.
Well,
But within the eligibility requirements, when it says that, you know, each team must have a balance of members in the arts and sciences, and we know there's going to be an influx of people, scientists getting thrown in, we have to find something for them to do.
well, fine, I think having them go out and discuss it with students is an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
That's
how
a good way
about
to
one
incorporate
And
other,
it.
also,
wait,
if they wanted to help, you know, have some input onto the script, that's fine.
how about one other?
But it's at a
another-
collaboration.
How about a third approach too, besides that, is that what if, in terms of the
I
arts,
say yes.
okay,
It is.
we
Oh,
use the scientists, you know, look, there's many beautiful ways to stage this artistically.
Yep.
Is that, what if we use the science just ideas to help stage the
Yes, yes.
the visual.
Absolutely. Yeah, stage design.
Meaning, for example, like what you came up with, there's a scene in there. If we're
So
doing
you're
stuff
talking
with
about
Higgs
using
boson,
scientists as stage designers.
well, is working with the artists.
With the artists, consultants.
terms
Yeah, I think that's a great idea for this play. I think there's a lot of
visual-
room for scientists to get
Yeah,
involved. Yeah.
Okay, let's use that. Why don't we
Like John
put
said,
that
I
there?
mean, physicists could talk more about the actual
Well,
launching.
like I've been
make that more
looking at all
realistic.
The
this,
physics of Mars,
this
why
Higgs.
the two are not consistent.
Right.
And
No, but
that's-
here's an example, like all this new stuff in Higgs boson, graphics, okay, are really interesting. I mean, they would be fantastic stage designs, or the way they draw the bombardment things and the.
I mean, the Feynman diagram.
Yeah, but I mean, as interpreted, but you have,
Subatomic particles.
yeah, for an artist to sit there, he has to sit there with a scientist and going, okay, how does this look? Does that curve this way? Does it go this way? But blah, blah, blah.
Well, time goes this way, interaction goes this way.
Well, artists and scientists do that all the time.
I know.
Whenever you see an artist's conception of a planet or something.
Yeah, or just a
That's an artist then illustrating scientific principles.
Right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they're working with scientists, and the idea there is we can be very expressive in the team. Okay, is we take what would, like you said, a dimensional thing, and we go, okay, then let's pretty it up, or let's Picasso it, or
Yeah, I mean, I think
something.
we can finesse this.
Here's what they're going to evaluate. This is the evaluation criteria. The extent of cross-disciplinary innovation,
Right.
the degree of scholarly risk-taking, the integration of concept explored and form in which it's executed, the feasibility for completion within the time frame, relevance to individual team members' disciplines, ability to create a community involvement component to the project, should be PR friendly and raise awareness about all participants, must include for-profit corporations, businesses, individuals, as well as non-profit associations. Wow, I'm not sure how we pull that off.
I don't either.
That's easy.
Oh, I do.
Contact TV and say,
Well,
hey,
use-
film our...
Well, what is
I
it, North
just-
Park Theater?
North Coast.
North Coast, is that what it's called?
Must include for-profit corporations, businesses, individuals, as well as non-profit associations.
Well, how about any businesses that have to do with the scientific exploration?
Does that mean that we need to get somebody involved in supporting this or something?
No, I think it is,
It shows, I'm hoping what it means is that there's an opportunity for that to happen. Like you go to Qualcomm and say, hey, you want to give us a couple $1,000 to run this thing?
See,
no, I don't think
get the point
I don't think that was
completely.
their point. I
completely
think their point
understand.
is that they want interaction between, not necessarily just money.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just have this feeling, that with too many people interacting, nothing's going to get done.
It depends how
I
we
do too.
organize.
We see it right here.
It depends how we organize
I
it.
mean,
No,
you
it
know,
depends how it's
it
organized.
seems to me that most successful projects are run by one person who draws on the expertise of other people. But it's not a half a dozen people putting their, or 2 dozen people putting their 2 cents in.
Well, listen, just for completion's sake, let's
Okay.
throw in that idea of having a collaboration between the artists and the scientists in terms of both visual, sonic, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
movement. Okay, dance.
I think John's play is okay. I think we need to talk more about Kaz's idea.
Well, no, we're just
We
finishing up.
haven't done anything with the application on this stuff.
He's making notes for the application for it. We're just.
I know, but I'm not making much sense out of these
But I must say
notes.
that Patricia really likes Kaz's idea. That's the impression I got from the.
Okay, well, let's
Email
move on
it.
to that. then,
So,
from-
I think the thing is, why don't I,
Well, let's tie up this.
sometime in the next week,
Mhm.
start writing something,
Okay,
start writing the application.
cool.
I think rewriting the script is something that can be done if we're funded.
Right.
I think basically setting what we want to do, and I'll work on this thing, and I'll send, when I get something written, which probably won't be till next week. 'Cause-
See, that's all I was thinking, because that's what Kaz was saying.
And
is
we'll
just
pass it
make
around.
an abstract.
And we'll pass it around.
Okay.
I think the one that needs probably more definition is Kaz's project, and that's one that she really likes, is the impression I have.
Yeah.
And she likes the staging idea of it, and I assume that's what she was talking about.
And that part scares the hell out of me.
Why, that doesn't scare me at all.
It doesn't, I know, but I don't see it happening. Start telling me how it's gonna happen. You know?
Okay, here's,
I mean, right now, all I have is faith in you.
that's a big mistake.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
No, but here's, okay, a couple of things on that. Let's get to the same point in your piece that we have with his piece too. Is we can easily stage a series of nanoplays, a flurry, a small flurry of nanoplays that we can
I
stage
like
the
that.
thing.
I like that. The way of expressing that. Snow flurry is nano
But I mean, in which we.
Flurry, I like the metaphor.
But here's the problem, okay, again, it's the same problem, is that how are we going to involve a flurry of scientists in that?
That will be
I think
involved
on
with.
Kaz's project, that would be easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
get
then hit me.
a playwriter, and a scientist get together, and you say, okay, let's talk about the aesthetics of what you do. What is it
So in
that's
other words, you
beautiful?
want them live on stage?
No, I'm talking about up front before writing the script.
We don't need that.
Don't need one.
In other words, if we take I mean, I've got in my back pocket a flurry of nanoplays if we need them. Or, you know, we can come up with those very fast. The thing is that how does scientists really, you've already crystallized the, you know, the, what do you call it, the macro machinery.
The space.
You know, for how this thing is to be looked through. So the thing is do we, in staging it, we're going to have audience reaction or cell phone reaction or something like that to, do we want to separate the artists and the scientists and take a microscopic look at their different aesthetic reactions or interpretations, or what's the point there? What's
Actually,
the-
that's not a bad idea. That's a real good idea. If we're going to take votes from the audience on where things fit into the aesthetic mapping, it might be a good idea to know who the vote is coming from. Do you describe
Sure.
yourself as a scientist or an artist or something else? And
That was interesting about the meeting last night. They had dots for 3 dots, a blue, a red, and a yellow. The blue was for science, the red was for art, and the yellow was for,
Sounds like Judah and
Interdisciplinary.
no, it was for education.
Well, okay, I think it's good, but it seemed to me that a place where scientists and artists could collaborate is actually writing and staging the nano plays.
That's what needs to happen.
That's what needs to happen. That's where I think the scientists come into this thing, because some of these things will be science themed, some will be totally aesthetic themed.
But scientists aren't writers.
Most aren't.
Yeah.
See, listen, I've got
And-
no
and
problem
so
writing
the
scripts.
well-
Okay, not at all.
And
But
we'll probably have,
but-
you know, yourself and you know,
No, but here's
other
the,
people
like he
involved as
says,
well.
He says, okay, there's script writing teams, okay,
Yeah.
are sort of natural forces of nature. They come together not by invitation, but by, you know, fun in doing stuff. And
you're keeping the
it might be
creativity
better,
flowing.
okay, because of the way you've arranged that thing is for us to take a, you know, a topographical look at all sorts of diverse ways you could go on that map and present potential, you know, like throwing darts of, you know, here's one idea, and
Anyone else thinking?
the problem with that is that
Keep it over there.
I'm fine. Good moving.
Over here.
Well,
okay, here's,
The thing that needs to happen is I think that we all need to fully understand the space and what each polar end in all dimensions mean. Okay. And then we can talk about what exists in the corners, and then when you have an idea of that, then you can write a nanoplay to fit in that corner. Otherwise, you're just going to write a nanoplay And then we're gonna have to figure out where it fits in the system,
You know,
which
but
is easy
and
to
here's
do.
what's going to happen though, is just like we were discussing.
They'll all
is
be
that
in one corner. That's
they
what I'm
won't-
worried
You
about.
won't get consensus
Consensus.
from an audience. You won't get consensus.
It depends, I think it depends on how clear,
Well, you
Well, by,
don't-
de-
and really
by
what.
definition, you wouldn't get.
Well, here's the
Should I give
thing.
you a practical example?
Here's what's gonna happen.
I'll give you an example.
Here's what's gonna happen, is you're gonna have the plays take place in the space. And that space is gonna define the, the aesthetic attributes.
But see, there's projection.
And then the audience is gonna have to say, yes, I believe that's where it belongs, or no, it belongs somewhere else.
But see, they've got projective symbolism and identity in what they're seeing, though. And they're going to project it scientifically or psychologically or...
When you say by projected, what do you mean?
In other words, what the metaphors, what one sees and experience, all of us are different.
It's true.
Okay? Some are going to see it scientifically, some are going to see it analytically, some are going to see it emotionally, some are going to see it physically, some are going to see it just, whatever, random relationship.
So there needs to be something up front that defines what this space
But
is
see, I
about.
thought the
Well,
whole
that's
fun
so
of
that
it...
they understand.
I think, well, first I think they need, perhaps needs to be a narrator saying what they're gonna be doing. Plus there'll be a program. And there may well be the projections on the walls, the spaces. Then I think they should perform the plays, and then the audience votes, and then as the votes come in, a spot of light moves around into different parts and different colors. And then finally, if you get a consensus, maybe it's gonna end up white in the center. Maybe it'll be a color at the corner.
See, here's
And I think
the
that's where the
better...
audience participation comes in. And I think that prevents really if we had them performed in the corners, or in the octaves with the colors, that would influence the audience. When we do it this way, the audience makes a decision where they end up.
See, I've got to add two things here that's very
I think it
important.
may answer your concern.
Here's the two things that I must add here is that one is programs and narration, okay, are often crutches in theatrical presentations. If you can have the thing, have the integrity without
And they're the
having...
meat of science.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if
Right.
you can have that in
A little more.
okay. The other thing is this, is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the whole cool thing about this idea is that you would get different reactions in different corners and different choices by different people, which would then reflect or mirror image their aesthetic.
How do you get different reactions? I mean, what do you mean?
Interpretations. And there's one person will be saying that's analytic, albeit
Yeah.
maybe it has that facet to it, but that's not the facet that's most salient in the intention of the piece.
Well-
But somebody else is seeing another dimension of it. And so the fun thing about that map or that matrix is that you're watching other people's watching what they're watching. And that's cool.
Well,
We should call that the name of one of the plays.
yeah. Well,
Watching other people's watching what other people are watching.
yeah. Well, I think you did that. But I think the question then is physically how we interpret, how we implement it. Now we could certainly. Yeah, originally we were thinking of having the annual plays take place in special sections of it to illustrate a certain idea, and see if the audience agrees. But I like the idea of having just presented on the stage, and then the audience determines where it ends up. And as the votes come in, it can move around. And so
And maybe the audience moves around.
So,
well, that's hard to do physically, but it could be. But I was thinking, you could have the backdrop of the stage
what,
be your diagram.
Exactly. Or no,
that's going to be a lot easier to do, the
Yeah.
stage, because you can put the stage up front, everything happens on the stage, but then the mathematical space is a whole auditorium.
Yeah,
And you could use like lasers
yeah,
to move to whatever location.
yeah. And
It
to
should be
make it easier
three-dimensional.
to see, you might have the
It
circular
should be.
mandala in the back.
Yes, it'll be
And then other things
three-dimensional,
on the
but-
sides.
Pardon?
And then
A
have the
circular mandala in the back.
Now, you know what would be really cool if the plays make reference themselves to where the lasers are pointing.
Well,
see,
so
that's his
Well, that's what
idea.
you're, that's
Yeah.
That's what he
you're doing.
wants.
Okay.
But the thing is, the audience is not gonna necessarily agree with
No,
it.
but the point is, at the end of
The
the,
audience is going to determine where it is by what he's
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
they determine what it, they've seen the play, then they determine what it is, and the lasers
But
light
see-
up various parts on the wall where we have his diagrams.
But you're not gonna get democracy on that.
No,
Okay, you're
no.
gonna get
What-
fractured individuality, and
Okay.
that's what you wanna show. You
Well,
don't wanna show
No,
as a-
consensus.
that's not what you want to show. You want to show where the mean is,
Yeah, yeah.
where the average is.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
not necessarily the most intelligent.
But you can do it, as the votes come in, you can spec and light up
You
various
can do
places.
both.
Do both, and then you could show the mean, or you could do the kurtosis, you could do anything you want on it, but, and
So
see what the
you wanna do the
consensus is.
stats.
But the consensus, I think
yeah.
just individual votes coming in and the consensus,
Yeah, I think that's
because,
a good
you know,
idea.
otherwise it's gonna,
Can
Don't
people
take too
vote
long.
with their phones?
Okay,
Yeah,
then you
that's
know
the
what
whole
we
idea,
have to
yeah.
do is we have to have various kinds of musical phrases for the different.
fine, we got two composers there, we may get some more.
Works for me.
You know, I compose too.
You
by
can
the
both
way.
three composers. In fact, you can get your equipment, your mobile thing, that could be one nano plane. We could have Arthur and his amazing mobile orchestra. And see what that is. I mean, I think that's.
Yeah,
I think
it's easier. It's going to be easier to do than
A lot
all
easier
than the
than-
staging.
We're not gonna have $100,000 or $200,000 to do this,
Yes.
or maybe 10.
But we'll
Doug, hi.
the crux
I'm just in a meeting.
is somehow I've got to come up with a way to make the average person understand
What's going on?
what's going on
Well-
in that space.
Well, several things I think is if they're given given a program that describes it in simple terms, plus you come out or someone comes out and tell people what they're doing, they're supposed to vote at the end, they're gonna see a whole series of nano little plays.
I'm not an actor, you know, and I really feel
Well,
like
okay,
I feel like
anybody
I feel
can
like
do it.
that. Well, no, I don't think anybody can do it. I mean, I think it's important that people. If you're a scientist, you do science in here. If you're an artist, you do artist. You're a little different because you also do theater,
Yeah.
but most scientists don't, and I wouldn't want any scientists doing theatrical stuff. They're scientists, and I think
No, I'm just
that's,
thinking
that's
something-
mentioned
I
in
just-
here as well.
No, I was just thinking you might be a very good person to go out and explain what's going on.
I
Well,
think-
maybe I'll definitely need to be a part of the script, but as
Right.
far as the acting, I don't know that.
Well, I'm not talking about the
You might be the
narrator.
narrator.
I'm talking about the impresario, the narrator comes on, welcomes people and tells them. If you don't want to do it, get
No,
somebody
no.
else.
The thing of it is I can see that narrator being very dramatic. You know,
Right.
over here, you know, or
Well, this
you
is what
know.
I was thinking. Instead of actually doing
We
like
can
a
actors do that.
narration, which is a very dry kind of a thing, have little snippets of even less than a nanoplay, just a little thing that illustrates the concept.
Yes, that needs to
in
happen
a
as
certain
well.
part
Yeah,
of the
but I think maybe
the
that
room.
should last maybe 5-10 minutes at most at the beginning.
right.
That's
yeah.
right.
Just
yeah.
to let people
That's
know
right.
what's going to happen and what they're
Right.
supposed to do.
That's right.
I mean, without explaining anything, I think like if a girl slaps a guy in the face, but it's in this part of the room, you know, and then you can explain
Right.
they were over here because blah blah blah, and then you know
And
somebody else gives somebody a big hug in another part of the room
Okay, so,
because
so that's the exordium or the introduction.
right.
Okay.
right.
So we have program notes, exordium, nano plays, and after each one of them, there's the evaluation. And so we need script writers and actors to do the nano plays. We need someone to write which you could probably do, write the thing. So I think, okay. And then as far as educational things on it, either invites school children
Well,
to do
we
it.
have to write a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That-
But I think
that
the
can be
thing
done.
is that you probably should start writing it and then share it with the rest of us. We'll have another
Yes.
meeting
Yeah.
and we'll go over both of them. Because
It's going to take, you know,
it's going to take several days.
it's going to take some time.
Yeah, it's
you know.
gonna-
I think for the educational aspect of Kaz's one, a good idea would be to actually have this kind of a thing happen in a school auditorium.
Well,
You know, like have an assembly.
if we don't require too much lighting to move around.
It's the lasers and the inner, you know, the computer aspects of
Yeah.
how the lasers target.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
going to be.
and also the cell phones.
But most of the kids, and I mean, at least in a high school, most of the kids probably have a cell
I know,
phone.
but it's the software that handles the phone calls coming in and how they're,
Yeah.
we do that. That's what we've got to figure out.